All producers have quantized their drums, but sometimes a song needs those perfectly placed hits to be slightly imperfect to fit just right. Drums, when played by an actual drummer, has imperfections. Acoustic drums will have very slight differences in the velocity the drummer hits each piece, and when they hit the drums will slightly be on different times. These imperfections are barely noticeable, if noticeable at all, and we've been trained to identify this as real drums. Obviously, drums can still sound good if the drums are perfect in every way. However, there are certain times a little imperfection is needed. By just offsetting when certain pieces are hit and the velocity of the hits, you can help the drums blend into your songs much better. Here are two examples. So here's a song I'm working on for an artist that requires real acoustic sounding drums. I still did everything through MIDI. However, I do have a background in drumming, so I know the limitations of what hands can do and how many cymbals can get hit at one time and all that. So here's one part I've highlighted that shows a snare roll that leads into another part of a song. So I'll play it real quick for you so you hear the lead in. So if you focus in on the snare, you'll see down here is the velocity. When I first did it, I kind of just did one snare hit. It was even across. The velocity was all maxed out and it sounded blatantly fake and electronic. So I moved the velocities here to try to replicate an actual drummer's velocity. This would be much more erratic if it was a real person, but it's pretty close, and you can see how it builds up and down, and then it maxes out here for like the big crescendo before the change or the transition. Also, if you look closely, I slightly slid the hits off grid, so they're not perfect. Even the best drummer won't always land on time perfectly each time. So again, instead of being super erratic, I did kind of an overall adjustment for all of these over a little bit. With such a quick little part and with music layered over it and vocals layered over it, no one's gonna really notice. You could go in here and really make it adjust it, but in the grand scheme of things, most people won't even pay attention to that much detail, but it would only make it sound better. And in a previous video, I showed you about this chill step beat that I did. If you haven't seen it, definitely check that out. It goes over in detail how to make a real smooth, unique sounding snare. So on here, there's layers on the snare. So you have the regular snare here that you can see that hits right on the grid consistently, but there's other parts I did. These snaps you can see are a little off grid, and then I did the slice part is much more off grid. So by doing that, it gives it a nice thick sound that you can hear. You can do this with the cymbals, which I also do. Certain little things on the kick drum. A lot of it, especially if you're doing styles that have like a shuffle tempo or different types of tempo that aren't just straightforward. Doing this will be exactly what you need to get that rhythm, that feel that you want with your drums. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this and want to see similar content, be sure to subscribe. And if you need high quality beats starting at just $4.99, visit MylzMedia.com.